Rising prices at the pump are leading to a curious dynamic in Washington, with Democrats proposing a tax cut and Republicans putting up a roadblock. Kayla Tausche has the latest. Kayla?
Kelly, geopolitical uncertainty continues driving energy prices up for American consumers, and the White House and Democratic lawmakers are trying to show voters they're looking for ways to alleviate those pricing pressures. One option on the table is a temporary suspension of the federal gas tax. It's about 18 cents on a gallon of regular, 24 cents on diesel, and in 2019 it raised about $45 billion for highway repairs. Some Senate Democrats have proposed pausing that until 2023, daring Republicans to quash that tax cut. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is not on board, though, echoing concerns raised by a former Treasury Secretary, saying, quote, Larry Summers had it right. He said it was a goofy gimmick. Now, the White House is declining to say how seriously any of these options are being weighed, only that no final decisions have been made. And a Democratic source tells me just moments ago, a big aspect of this, Kelly, is just messaging.
So if this isn't going anywhere, what other options might they explore at this point, since we already did a release of barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve?
Well, the administration could still go back to that option. They could always release more from the emergency reserves, and they could try to discuss another coordinated reserve with allies around the world, similar to what happened in November. There are discussions underway nearly every day on this front to try to coordinate, especially with a possible invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The White House pointed that out again in a briefing just a few moments ago. So certainly that is still on the table, Kelly. But the impact is short term, as we saw. The price of gas at the pump is still back where it was, higher than where it was before the White House did that back in November. But I think the main point to keep in mind with this proposal for the federal gas tax is primarily just to show voters that they're talking about things they can do, that they're aware that it hurts people's pocketbooks, that they are at least trying to put things on the table, even though behind the scenes, what I'm hearing from a lot of aides is, that there aren't that many pros to it. It's really hard to put something like this back in place once you roll it back.
Yeah, and if they were to let it go for a while, would they just borrow and still put $45 billion towards highway repairs, or would that money not be available?
Well, they can always pass new legislation trying to find new revenues from somewhere else, but that's another one of those issues that the Highway Trust Fund needs that money. That is one point that the Chamber of Commerce has raised in opposing any potential rollback of the gas tax. So certainly there are a lot of critics of doing this, even though the White House is trying to show voters it cares.